I've become more convinced that one of the toughest things for us to do as spouses or partners is admit when something is not working and stop doing it or let go of it and try something new or try a different approach. Let me be more clear. I think in trying to recover from infidelity, inevitably there comes a time when you get stuck in a pattern, and this pattern will not change. And you know, as a spouse or a partner, as you start to get into a discussion, you feel it inside of you. Oh God, here we go again. And you know it instinctively, we're going to get stuck in this pattern. Or alternatively, you get into this big fight, big confrontation. Before you know it, with lightning quick speed, it blows up. And then you sit back later and analyze it and go, man, this always happens. I told myself I wasn't going to let it happen, but it happened again. Popular authors, Emerson Eggerichs calls it the crazy cycle. John Gottman and his wife also talk about a disempowering cycle. And there's several names for it, but I just got to tell you that we get stuck in patterns or behaviors that we find it incredibly hard to let go of, and even harder, if you will, to break the pattern. You see, it's really tough for us to admit something's not working. It could be our pride. It could be a particular culture that we come from. It could be just stubbornness, a refusal to quit, or maybe you're holding on to a method of treatment that you feel like should work and is supposed to work, but yet the glaring reality is it is not working. And I could give a million examples, but I don't want to offend anyone, and I don't want to offend anybody from a specific group. But the reality is, there comes a point when you have to realize that what you're trying to use to bring freedom or victory or breakthrough isn't working, that you finally go, look, I'm not going to keep doing this. It's not working. And it was tough for me to hit a point where I was willing to admit, this isn't working. I've got to do something new. I've got to approach this problem from a different perspective, because I am the one causing myself an incredible amount of hurt or pain because I keep resorting to an old method that has proven itself ineffective time and time again, but I am so stupid I keep using it. The better thing to do would be to find a new method to utilize to bring about the desired end that I have in mind, which, when I'm really running on all cylinders, is healing, restoration, clarity, empathy, remorse, oneness between Samantha and I. To give you some examples of some things I'm talking about, you may be a betrayed spouse begging your unfaithful spouse to get help, begging them, chasing them, trying to get them to take action. You may be an unfaithful spouse and you may be experiencing the same thing. You're begging, you're trying to do all the different things that you can to control the situation to get your betrayed spouse to get help or to participate in recovery, and they're just not willing yet. You may be a spouse or partner saying, I'm always the one that is initiating physical intimacy. He or she never initiates it. I'm always the one that has to drive the bus and say, look, let's go be intimate. And there comes a point where no matter how much talking you're doing in any of these situations that I've mentioned, or the infinitesimal amount of issues that I haven't addressed, there comes a point where you have to realize that talking isn't always the way that you're going to see change. Oftentimes, talking isn't working and you have to resort to actions. Someone has to change the dance. And Rick Reynolds, our founder and president of Affair Recovery, will tell you that most of the time, although it's not always, a pretty significant amount of time, marriages don't change because both partners or spouses magically one day go, you know what, we're stuck and we need a change, so let's come up with a plan, both of us, to bring about change. Most of the time, studies will tell you that greater than 70% of the time, one spouse finally gets sick of the pattern or the cycle and says, okay, I'm going to change the dance. I'm no longer going to do X hoping for Y. I'm going to now take a different approach. Some examples for you might include, you know what? I'm not going to beg you to get help. I'm going to get help for me. If you don't want to get help, if you don't want to participate, I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to hammer you with articles and videos and all of these things. I'm not going to keep chasing you with my email and sending you all this stuff. If you don't want to get help, that's your choice, but I'm getting help for me, and I'm going to pull back and stop begging you to meet me in the middle or come to my side and let you be where you are. It may be that you as an unfaithful spouse decide, you know what, I can't make you as a betrayed spouse or partner get help. I just can't keep trying to make you. I'm going to get help for me. And I'm going to give you the freedom. And I'm going to give you the space that you need to work it out how you want to work it out. Because I'm not sure how long I can keep doing this because I'm wanting to make amends, or I'm wanting to get help, or I'm wanting to do all that I can. But perhaps your betrayed spouse or partner is not willing. Well, shaming, attacking, harassing, manipulating, trying to control things, or just constantly asking them isn't helping. So the best thing that you can do is pull back and say, look, I'm going to give you the space that you need to do what you need to do, but for me, I'm going to work on me. Another tendency would be to hear something like this, or maybe read some articles and say, yeah, that's right, I'm going to do that. And then you call your spouse or partner in the room and you say, look, I just want you to know. And then you begin to lecture them, all in an attempt to tell them that you're not going to do what you are still doing, which is trying to make them get help. The better thing to do is to have a meeting with yourself, if I can say it that way, and have a real good kind of moment where you decide, look, I'm not going to tell them anything. I've been trying to tell them this for weeks or months or years or decades. No longer am I telling them, I'm going to show them. And that could be for the unfaithful or the betrayed. It's about saying, okay, I'm not going to fall prey to this pattern anymore. I'm going to get help. I'm going to get outside influence, expert outside influence. I'm going to study. I'm going to read. I'm going to pursue breakthrough in my own life. Maybe you are contributing to the pattern or the cycle, and you need to find out what in you keeps doing this. I can tell you one of the best things that you can do is surrender your spouse to where they want to be and pursue your own healing. And I know some of you just said, oh, you mean you surrender them? What if they're chasing the affair partner? They're already chasing the affair partner. You can be amicable, you can be available, you could be willing to get help. But maybe it's time to stop constantly trying to chase them, because if that's where they want to go, there comes a point where you have to say, look, I can't make you want me. In fact, if I have to make you want me, something's wrong, and I don't want to have to make you want me for the rest of this relationship, however long it's going to be. I'm going to allow you to be who and where you want to be. All I can do is work on me. Ask yourself, how can you take some of the power back today? How can you change the dance and stop using a pattern of behavior or using a tool that's no longer working? What tool do you need to throw onto the workbench and say, okay, I'm not using that anymore. It's not working. What changes do you need to make to bring about your own healing and your own peace of mind?